Hey guys, and welcome to another video on Destroyer gameplay. Today's topic is actually not something that relates to Destroyer gameplay specifically. It's actually something that anyone who wants to improve their gameplay in any game should be aware of, and that is learning from your own mistakes and also from your good plays. But in order to do that, you need to realize what is a good play, what is a mistake, and when did you just get lucky or unlucky with a certain situation. So in this game, there are a lot of those situations. Let me just tell you, a lot of situations that could have been interpreted in the wrong way. And the end result does not reflect how the overall gameplay was. Because this was a game that we played in Division when we were just waiting to get a second team going for clan battles. And we just decided to derp around in the lower mid tiers. Tier 6 specifically. I do call that lower mid tiers because tier 1, 2, 3, 4 are so fast in the grind that you skip those pretty fast. So there are a lot of inexperienced players at tier 5 and 6. Which is also why we tend to take chances that we normally wouldn't do. We don't expect always to be punished as hard for them, and by the way, this was the very first game that I ever played on T61. I just checked out which ships I had at tier 6, and this was a ship that I'd never played before, so I wanted to try it. And in order to really try a ship, I wanted to get into the action as soon as possible, so I was a bit overeager here. Started firing in the open water gunboating in German destroyer. Not recommended. But I did land a couple of hits, even though it does look like a pretty bad trade. And whether you call it just being a bit careless or overeager or just having fun and trying the ship, it's definitely not recommended destroyer gameplay. And yet, there's the first blood, and now it actually looks like a really good trade. I traded about 5,500 HP for killing a destroyer. But that doesn't mean that's the way you should play the ship. It just means that I was lucky, basically. And the enemy did what he shouldn't do and stay in exactly the spot where we all knew he was and where Torps were very much expected to be. Even sat completely broadside to the direction that he knew Torps were probably coming from. Anyway, moving on, I'm going to this flank trying to catch this Congo, but he's disengaging, so the chances of any Torps hitting him are pretty slim. I do try to get as close as I can to him. And actually goes a bit too far, and I get detected, which is the best way to warn someone that Torps are coming. So if there ever was a chance that Torps were gonna hit, it's pretty much gone now. I smoke up, try to see if I can finish Congo with the guns, but it looks like he's actually just gonna burn to death, so I switch to the graph speed.
Smoke screen set.
I did mention this was the first game I played, so I'm not gonna go into much detail about the build of the ship or its strength. But it does seem like a really good ship. The guns do what they're supposed to do. Torpedoes are really good. It's got a 6.1 kilometer concealment. Good smoke. Hydro which is pretty rare at this tier. And yeah, so it's got a lot of tools to deal with pretty much any ships. However, we did get an early lead, but that has been turned around, so it looks like the other flank is scattered in a strange way, and now the base is actually under attack, so I'm turning around to try to defend the base. And by the way, if you're confused about the chat that the somewhat incoherent chat that I'm sending to my division, that's because we were all on voice in Discord, but I didn't have the mic at the time, so I'm responding to what they're saying. We are now down 2 ships, and we've lost a carrier, and as you can see, the Icarus and Murmansk are going towards our base. I'm going back towards the base and telling that I can no longer support this flank. I have to go back, and I'm pinging to make everyone aware that that is now at least my priority, and this Fuso is gonna be on his own on this flank, because now the Devonshire died.
The enemy team has taken the lead.
Our remaining CV kills the Icarus, that's good. And he's now going for the Murmansk. Still, I want to make sure that the Murmansk dies. And
all stations retreat. Get back.
Yeah, trying to get the Fuso to disengage, because that's not a fight he can win. And taking a few shots at Murmansk, trying to, well, once again, actually just maybe see if I can get the kill. I am a bit greedy here. Really no reason to fire, but
Engine boost activated.
yeah. The game looks pretty dire at this point, so I'm trying to get some kills and get something done. As he's going behind the island, this is perfectly fine firing at him here. There's no risk involved for me. But now I want the kill, so I keep firing, and not doing that much damage. I might have been better off using AP here. And I take a fairly large amount of damage in return. So, yeah. Another not exactly optimal play here. Turning back around, so as to maybe finally start doing what a destroyer is supposed to do, be stealthy and sneaky and torpedo the ships that are now gonna be attacking our base for sure, because they have a pretty big advantage in ships, and our Fuso is just about to die. Now the enemy is doing some things too here that are not recommended. The Graf Spee is the one rushing the Fuso. Fuso is very low HP, and yet it seems like the Graf Spee just wants to torp him, and he's rushing full speed towards him, losing a ton of HP in the process. And that is of course good for us. Now I wanted to torp this Ismail, but I'm holding my torps because our carrier is also engaging the Ismail, which is making him dodge, which makes my torpedoes very unlikely to hit if I torp at this point. So I'm waiting. This was the last drop of the Furious, And now the Ismail's gonna be turning towards where he wants to go. And it looks like he's gonna go towards our camp again. So I'm guessing here and sending towards where I think he's gonna be going. And the garage bay is low enough now that I don't need to smoke up in order to shoot. So I don't really need any spotting from anyone here. I can wait. There are a couple of reasons why I'm waiting and holding my shots here. One is I don't want to give away my position to the Ismail. Now that the torps are hitting, it's fine. I'll start shooting. The other one is I want to get close enough to the garage bay that I'm sure that I hit all my shots so I can kill him before he gets a shot off. And the third is the reason that is completely selfish is I wanted the double strike. So I timed that. And in this case, it was actually the better play and there's nothing lost. There is no downside to it, so why not? Ranger obviously at this point thinks this is a one game, or at least he did until this double kill, and is pushing in order to get the last bit of damage done, and that is a bit of an opportunity for me, so I'm dropping torps. He knows where I am, so the planes are coming. I don't want him to spot me, because as long as he's searching for me, he's not maneuvering his ship. You can't directly control your ship and the planes at the same time, so I'm smoking up, hoping that he's torping the smoke. If he isn't, he's calling his planes back and I can just start engaging with very little risk. But he did take the time to try to torpedo my smoke, and that cost him his ship. Now we're down to 2 players. It's me and the carrier, so doesn't look too good, and I'm definitely not expecting to win this, but maybe I can get a crack in at this point. So turning back to where I expect the enemy team to be pushing. And that is when the other carrier comes at me with torpedo planes. That shouldn't be so much of an issue because I'm in a destroyer, pretty maneuverable one, and yeah. Don't drink and drive, okay? Just don't. Yeah, no excuse for that. That was just a panic move for some reason. Anyway, I'm now setting my priority sectors, trying to, yeah, I don't know, break some of his toys at least. It's not like my AA is gonna deplane him, but at least I can annoy him in return. Dodging the planes and dodging the shells from the Bayern, and now I really have to get back to the base as soon as possible because we are being capped. And that is a destroyer, can obviously just smoke up and our carrier won't be able to do anything about it. At the same time though, there are 2 more ships somewhere in between me and the enemy base. And I know where the Bayern is, I'm not too sure about where the cruiser is, so being attacked by rocket planes, and this time doing the right thing, turning in towards him. The reason why I turned towards the rocket planes is that it takes a while for the planes to to actually engage. It takes a bit of time to aim, and in that time I can actually just sail past him if I'm going towards him, so he'll overshoot. And since he dropped fighters, I have to smoke up, because I'll be permanently spotted for a bit if I don't. But it does give me a chance to maybe get this for Taka and get my Kraken. Land a couple of torps as well, that's always nice. And there's a Kraken.
We've destroyed an enemy cruiser.
Gonna be using the rest of my smoke just to try to do something about this biome, because there's no way I can get to the cap if I don't deal with the Byron. And I don't have the HP pool to YOLO, in part because of plays that I made early in this game. However, the Byron is just sailing straight, and the outcome of this is pretty predictable. And there it is.
We've destroyed an enemy
I get vision of the destroyer at a very fortunate time, because he's close to capping actually. I really need a decap. So there's no other option than to open fire at this point, even though it's not really a good fight to take. But I get the decap, and at this point we have a fighting chance between me and the carrier. So I mean, it's not going to be easy, but we do have a yeah. Okay, we did have a pretty good decent chance. Now it's almost impossible. The destroyer can just sit behind the smoke, he can disengage, they have a big points lead. I have to kill them both in 3 minutes. And the carrier can keep me permanently spotted. I don't have any smoke. I have to rush the base. And yeah, even if the carrier can flat out just kill me, I don't have. And there is a small hope right there, because once again the destroyer is just sitting broadside in the smoke. Let me just mention how lucky it is that everything that just happened. It's a lot of people who do exactly what I need them to do in order to die this fast. Anyway, I do what I can to dodge these dive bombers, and it's obviously a lot easier to dodge dive bombers than rocket planes, but there's a lot of luck and RNG involved as well. I'm pretty sure that I'm seconds away from dying, so I just sent some panic torps at this point, and yeah, maybe I should have just waited. Even secondaries are scary for me now, and here comes the rocket planes. So I go to AP because I need really fast citadels and fast damage here, but they just don't penetrate. Still fighting the AP though, so yeah, with HE he would have been dead now, and this last strike wouldn't be possible for him. Switching to AP. I'm not using my sector reinforcement, and I'm not dodging because I'm completely tunnel vision. But he just missed. Maybe he actually missed because I wasn't dodging, and I've been dodging the entire game, and he expected me to dodge. I don't know. Or maybe he just had as much adrenaline pumping as I did and misplayed because of that. I'm not sure. But it's definitely not because I played it the way I wanted to. Either way, the result is pretty impressive, despite all of these mistakes. 156,000 damage, 6 achievements, 8 kills. XP wise, 2560 base XP. That's impressive at tier 10. At tier 6 is really, really, really good. And I'm not sure I've ever had such an amazingly entertaining game ever before. It's definitely in the top 3 or so. And most of it actually happened because of mistakes that I made early and late in the game. That made it definitely more entertaining for me. So, the point is that a good game doesn't necessarily, well, an impressive game, result-wise, doesn't always mean that you made all the right decisions. And if you want to learn from your mistakes and from the good decisions, it's necessary to actually analyze what's going on, what happened, and should I do this next time I'm in this situation. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed this and maybe even learned something. Thank you for watching, and I'll catch you next time.